Good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Felipe Rengifo, and on behalf of my team, which is managed by Andy Brofman and Desmond Tay, and under the advice of Professor Stephen Cohen, it is my pleasure to brief you on the New York Solar Industry Development and Jobs Act of 2011. I would also like to recognize the work of Francis Chen, my co-lead in this task. So, in order to present you our main considerations on the implementation of this bill, we have put together an agenda that will start by indicating the nature of the problem that is being addressed. Then we will take a look at the solution that is being proposed in the bill and also explain our own approach for the implementation of that solution. I will also refer to the parties that are expected to be involved in the execution of the solution and how much it will cost. Finally, I will indicate the expected outcomes and the performance indicators for implementation, as well as our own definition of success for this program on the development of the New York State solar market. So in order to understand the nature of the problem that is being addressed, we have to take a look at the use of energy in the state of New York. As shown in the pie chart, with less than 0.1%, solar power still has an insignificant share. While sources like hydro, biomass, and nuclear are 25%, the state still heavily relies on fossil fuels. Note that coal, petroleum, and natural gas are more or less 3/4 of that total usage. This exacerbates environmental problems such as climate change and pollution due to extraction, consumption, and production of energy in the state. In order to address these environmental problems, and also in order to contribute to energy security in the state, the New York Solar Industry Development and Jobs Act of 2011 was tabled in the State Senate, an assembly gathering important bipartisan support. However, the bill has not been voted on due to the lack of political commitment by key figures in the state government. The main objective of the act is to stimulate the development of the solar market through the establishment of a minimum amount of solar power that has to be purchased by electricity suppliers year by year from 2013 to 2025. If the suppliers do not fulfill this primary obligation, they will have then to pay a penalty to the state. And this secondary requirement will also help the development of the solar market through funding of research and development activities that will come from the resulting revenue from the penalty payments. With a view to setting this system into motion, we have designed an implementation approach that is based in 4 pillars. The first one of those pillars is the establishment of flexible terms for purchasing solar power, so we don't penalize immediately, and also we can accommodate the different sizes and capacities of solar generators and also of electricity suppliers. Secondly, the penalty payments will be for the suppliers that can fulfill their solar obligations will be set at a moderate level, just slightly above the purchase price of the solar power. And we have decided this because at present times it's still uncertain the potential demand and also the available supply of solar power. Also because the bill only allows us to incrementally increase that payment level, and we don't want to start too aggressively, then create a lot of opposition and not be able to decrease the level of payments. Just as we expect people to fall short from their solar obligations, we also expect that some suppliers will go above and beyond those solar goals. For them, we have foreseen a Solar Champion Incentive Program that will grant wide public recognition for their accomplishments. So in this design, the Solar Champion Incentive Program will act as a carrot, whereas the moderate payment level will be a stick. Lastly, all this will be accompanied by a robust monitoring system that will track performance and gaps throughout all the stages of implementation. So let's take a look now at the entities that we expect to be involved in the execution of this solution. The main role will be assigned to the New York State Public Service Commission that will lead overall implementation. The Service Commission will also have direct responsibility over the purchase system, and in addition will manage 2 contracts. The first contract will be an economic analysis contract that basically will be mandated of 2 tasks. One is assessing the solar market, and on the basis of that assessment, then they will propose a payment level, a penalty payment level. Then there is a public relations contract that is in charge of designing the Solar Incentive Champion program. All this work will be supported by the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority that particularly will be in charge of the design and functioning of the tracking system. We expect that all these tasks will be carried out during the first year, and the definition of success in these 4 tasks will be basically their full completion in that year. To make this possible, we have projected a budget that mirrors this functional structure. So let's look at that budget. That first year budget will be $6.39 million US dollars. And as shown in the breakdown of this projection, it has a strong operational focus with more than 90% allocated for the incentive program, economic analysis, and the tracking system. Note that only 9% of the whole budget goes to administrative aspects that include staffing. We believe that this figure will suffice the early stage of implementation that will be crucial for getting on track towards the fulfillment of our broad goals. We have defined in terms of goals, goals in the economic, environmental, and social fields. All those goals can be measured. In the economic field, as stated in the bill, we expect implementation to visibly contribute to the development of the solar market, and here we will be looking at indicators such as the volume of solar power that is going to be traded, the price of that solar power, and also the number of buyers and sellers, that is the number of solar generators and electricity suppliers. In the environmental field, we will be looking at the amount of emissions that are going to be reduced or expected to be reduced, and for this we will use measurements from the US Environmental Protection Agency. And finally, in the social field, we will focus in employment generation, in particular in the solar market. We'll be looking at indicators like the number of jobs per service type and also the average wages. For this, we will use statistics collected by the State Labor Department. So, all these expected outcomes can be further translated into our long-term vision and definition of success for this program. The main objective is that by 2025, 3% of the state electricity comes from solar power. Here, it's important to note that this is a goal in terms of the program period from 2013 to 2025, but we expect that the solar market develops beyond, of course, this 3% after 2025. In any case, this 3% will translate, or we expect it to translate into some environmental benefits, such as the avoidance of close to 5 million tons of carbon dioxide, and that is roughly the equivalent of taking 840,000 cars off the streets of the state. Furthermore, we also expect some social benefits, as indicated before. We expect the creation of more or less 22,000 direct and induced jobs, and this is a bit more than half of the jobs that were created in New York City private sector from September 2010 to September 2011. So overall, what this bill tries to achieve is not overly ambitious. Rather, it entails realistic and feasible goals that, instead of addressing all the energy-related problems of the state, focus on an incremental solution. We expect that incremental solution will generate a snowball effect that catalyzes demand, supply, investment, and also profitability in the solar market. While success and taking the necessary steps depends on the political will and courage of those in the state government, we do believe that the implementation of this bill will be a small but solid gesture towards fulfilling the need for solar power in the state of New York. I thank you very much, and I'll be happy to respond to your questions and comments. Thank you. Crystal. Hello, Crystal.
Good morning, Juan. So I'm wondering, are you guys creating any new commissions, or is this all just existing commissions within New York?
We're basically using, let's look at that slide. We're basically using existing personnel in the Public Service Commission and NYSERDA, but we are creating 4 new positions also for the implementation of the program. Maybe some person in my team wants to provide additional information on those 4 positions. I don't know. Yeah.
Hi. So we're creating a working group within the Public Service Commission, and as Juan said, we're hiring 4 full-time employees. There will be a director, a legal advisor, a technical manager, and a program manager. So that's what we're doing. Thanks.
Andrew?
Well, okay, I'll be fast. Yeah, a lot of pressure now. I just had a question about penalty payments. Do you anticipate collecting the revenue from that directly? Is that feasible in this program, or can you directly take that income, or are you only taking your funding from the state?
We are taking the funding from the state. In any case, I mean, we devise that those funds will be requested for funding research and development activities, but they have to go through, in any case, the institutional established budgetary process of the state.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.